Okay, so we're talking a little bit about today about caring transitions and how it has branched off into our rare finds business. And one of the things about caring transitions helps seniors. We actually specialize in seniors, but we serve all consumers, help them downsize and liquidate their household items when they move. All of our people are employees. Everybody's bonded, insured, trained. We have a highly professional and trustworthy staff. So when it comes to selling your house and emptying out all the contents, or if you simply want to downsize, it is I never met anybody who said they enjoyed it. It's an overwhelming, very stressful task, and especially when it comes to seniors who possibly lost a spouse. They're in their 80s and 90s. They've lost friends, and now all of their surroundings, everything that they grew up with, all their memories have to be liquidated, have to be moved, and it's extremely stressful. So that's what we help them with. We help them go through the sorting and organizing of everything, and then donate and sell items that can be sold. So my generation, the older generation, I'll admit to it, we saved everything. I don't know if you guys, younger guys, have junk drawers today, but we had junk drawers that had stuff in it. You didn't know what was in there. Closet space that, clothes that we haven't worn in years, and basements and garages that you can't even fit a car in anymore. My 2-car garage, until recently, I couldn't even hardly fit a bicycle in it. So all this stuff, basement filled with stuff. What do we do with it all? And by the way, where in the world did it all come from? That's what people ask themselves. I can't believe all this stuff that I've accumulated. Where did it come from? Well, we get married, we buy a home, and then we have a tribe. We have kids, we have in-laws, and they eventually move out of the house, and they leave everything behind for us to deal with, the older people to deal with. So these are photos from jobs typical jobs we've had. That pool table probably hasn't been used in 15 or 20 years. It's just piled with stuff. There was a treadmill under that pile of stuff. As you can see, and when it's left to you to do it yourself, here's what happens. I walk in and they say, well, all this stuff that's in the living room, we're going to keep that and then get rid of everything else. And the living room is piled to the ceiling with stuff that they don't want. So here's what we do. We come in, we stage all the rooms for an estate sale. And we want to get it at the end of the weekend from there to there so the realtor can sell the house. The room now looks open, it looks large, as opposed to a room that's cluttered with stuff. This is a bedroom of one of the kids who moved out, just collecting stuff that hasn't been used. We want to get it to there. This is the daughter's room, same thing. So that's what we do with the estate sales. Here's the kitchen. Doesn't look bad, but you start opening all those cabinets and it's just a ton of stuff. So we get it to that condition again. So it can be sold, shown. The realtor doesn't want to show a house that looks like that. They want to show a kitchen that looks open, spacious, and clean like that. And that's what we help do in a very short period of time. Another situation here. And the basements. Done. So when a family tries to do it themselves, I've had at least one family, they worked on the house for over a year after the parents died, and they hardly made a scratch in it because they were a sister and 2 brothers. They lived distance away, 2 hours away. And, it's just impossible. And when a house is not occupied anymore, when the residents or parents have passed and it's not occupied, a house, believe it or not, has a soul. And it starts to deteriorate. So getting it cleaned out and on the market is critical. The thing is, putting stuff on the market, the hardest thing to overcome is people's feelings or beliefs on what the stuff they have, what's it worth. I hear it all the time. I paid $6,000 for this all wood hutch and dining room set 20 years ago. $6,000 20 years ago. The implication thinking is, well, it's got to be worth more today. Where do you get all wood furniture today? And the fact is, that's not necessarily true. So it's not true because lifestyles of the younger people have changed. Nobody washes china anymore. Nobody sits there. I remember sitting at the dining room table with my grandmother as she polished the silverware, every so often. That just doesn't happen anymore. So there is less demand from a younger generation for used goods, and society is getting older. Baby boom generation, we're all getting older, and that age wave just means that there's more stuff that's going onto the market. So there's a glut of inventory as far as used stuff goes, and there's little demand. So here's what's hot, what's not. What's hot is what's not hot, glassware. Everybody's got glass. They've got that crystal that is worth a fortune, and it's not really. Large furniture, we can't give it away. Things that are hot, let's take a look at some of them. And let me explain first of all that there are different values. There's insurance value, which is something if you had to replace that diamond ring, what would it cost? That's what you insure it for. There's perceived value, what somebody perceives as something to be worth. There is sentimental value, and then there's the real market value. And those things don't necessarily overlap. So here's an old vintage Everroot motor that we would probably think, that's worth nothing, throw it out. Well, the fact of the matter is that's sold online for $145. Not a big deal, but it had a value. Here's the Waterford crystal. Beautiful cut glass crystal, $23. That old beat up motor, $145, the crystal, $23. I remember playing guitar in high school, and given the guitar, I don't even know what I did with my guitar, but what's that old guitar going to be worth in the future? Nothing. What's it going to be worth? That guitar sold for $1,100. Oops. Sorry about that. Oh, I lost some of my slides. Okay, things like Hummels. I had a slide, I don't know what happened to it. A Hummel collection that consisted of about 15 pieces, sold for $45. A set of Matchbox cars. There were about probably 48 Matchbox cars in the case that sold for over $400. So Hummels, Yadros. Now there are certain Hummels and Yadros that have a value, and we'll help you to determine that. So here's what happened. We opened up this consignment store, Rare Finds, to bring those. The fact of the matter is, if you've got 80% of the stuff you have in your house is of no value, it just doesn't pay to try to hold a yard sale. You're not going to make any money, so throw it out. And then the things that are of value, we can bring into our consignment shop and sell them for you there. And these are the types of things that you would find in our consignment shop, which we're going to have an open house, by the way, at the end of the month. I guess we can mention that, and you guys are all going to be invited. So that's what Caring Transitions is about. Any questions?
Who values this stuff? Do you price it out, or does the client, or some research involved?
Yeah. Oftentimes the client will go on eBay and say, I saw that item on eBay, it was selling for $4,000. Well, somebody was asking $4,000. If you go on eBay to find out what something you have is worth, on the left-hand column of your screen, there's going to be filters. You look for the sold.
Yeah.
So looking at what people are asking for things, because people ask crazy prices. You look at what those items actually sold for, and the difference between somebody that's asking $1,500 for a baseball card and it only sold for $400. But once people get that in their minds that this thing is worth $1,500, when they find out it's only worth a couple hundred, the frustration, they get very disappointed. So Yes, we
Yeah.
do. We have a database that we subscribe to that's got hundreds of thousands of when I can't find it, if you have an item and I can't find it or something very similar to it, that surprises me. Almost anything you have, as rare as you think it might be, there's others out there. That's not to say all the
Yeah.
time, but no, we do a non-certified appraisal to give you an idea, and we do that also to determine whether or not it's going to be worth your time to have an estate sale. An estate sale costs money. We have to there's a lot involved, including the staffing of that sale. And if you're not going to bring in $5,000 or $6,000, you're not going to make any money on the estate sale. So that's where we can take the things that are of value, and we can bring them to our rare find shop and sell them there for you.
So George, I have two questions for you. One, when you do someone's house a clean out like that, do you normally have the homeowner and or whoever inherited the house in some cases there so that you could fish through the items, or is this something that you do solo because of the challenges of having somebody there and them getting emotional with the product or whatever they have?
During the actual sale, most estate sale companies the homeowner's not there. They don't want the homeowner there, and for that reason, the homeowner. And when you're going into somebody's house to buy, a little tchotchke or whatever it is you're buying, and the homeowner's standing there, as a buyer, you don't feel good about it either. So however, if the homeowner wants to be there, we do not discourage them from being there. We explain to them it's going to be. I just had one this weekend in Woodbridge, and the homeowners decided they did not want to be there for that reason. If the homeowner is there, well, I'm going to put them to work.
Yeah, keep them busy, keep them out of
Yeah,
your hair. The second thing is, do you have a limitation geographically? Like there's a house in Saratoga that
right.
I'm looking to
Well,
take care of.
Caring Transitions has I think it's approaching 240 offices across the country. So if you had a house in Sarasota, I could refer you to the Caring Transitions, and
Okay, so you do have a referral
all
service.
work on the same model. Yeah.
Yeah. And is all the pricing the same? Is it negotiable? Sorry, Chris, I saw your hand. I'm sorry.
Pricing during the auction?
For
I mean,
the
during the
auction, for
estate
the
sale?
clean out, for all that stuff, or is it something that gets appraised?
The value of the items?
No, because you go in and clean the house out and make it and you stage it.
Right.
Is there a going price for that, or is there something that gets
Oh,
done when you go there to look at it?
yeah, there is a price for the sorting, organizing, photography, and research. It's very low. It's $300, and a lot of hours go into that. Yeah,
That's it?
that's it.
Hired.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the price for what the services I just mentioned. What the actual sale, we get a 35% commission. So
Yeah, that's
65,
fair.
35.
It's all on contingency, right?
Right, and that's a normal rate. Some real estate or estate sale companies charge higher commissions.
Yeah.
But and for a clean out, it's just an hourly. It's a per hour, man hour, person hour basis.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how we're doing on time, but I have a question. So, and you're absolutely right about things that we think have this perceived value, right? That it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay. Like I've got a Persian rug that in its day was very expensive, and I had it appraised. It's like less than $1,000 now because people don't want that stuff. I have this old Danish china. My mom's from Denmark. It was when she was a kid, and I must have moved this a half dozen times from home to home. I never unwrap it, I think I've got 40 place settings, and nobody wants this stuff. What do I do with it? And so maybe that's something. So the question is, do you work on a consignment basis, or do you buy the inventory and then resell it?
With the store, with Rare Finds, we work on a consignment basis, so it really doesn't cost you anything.
Well, I got to get it to you.
You have
and
to
then get it back if it doesn't sell.
Doesn't sell in 60 days, or after 60 days, we talk about, it may still sell, but yeah, it's on a consignment basis. And was Chris's, what he just said, was that taped? Because I want to use it.
Yeah, no, it's all taped.
That's exactly.
It's worse than taped. It's live.
Yeah.
So,
Chris's
so
experience is what we go through every day. Nobody wants China. I've got beautiful China in my store. Beautiful
This is
patterns.
Danish China. It's even better.
We can't even get ourselves to throw it out, but it's been in the store for over 3 months and just, it has no value, unfortunately.
Chris, we'll
And
put
you have
your
somebody
China
up by
together with
Woodstock?
Ken's father's China. We'll just see what happens because I got it too.
all right, I
You
know
have
it's time to
somebody-
wrap up, but George, I just want to say two things. First and foremost, your services. I mean, it's amazing I know back from helping and working with you, all the effort that you put into each one of these sales. I mean, it's unequivocal, the excess value, like Jeannie said, that they get versus just the knowledge and the sharing as to, is it worth something or is it, and the amount of effort you guys put in to assure that it is or isn't is amazing. And I think a great way to think about it too is with all these products is size matters. Like size matters. The ability to move the product anywhere in the country will give it a lot more value. Just like Chris highlighted, it's the moving the product around limits the buyer market, limits the number of people who can get to it. So that big furniture, those different things, if you've got to move it, it's going to be expensive. If it's small, it can have value. And I think that's something to keep in mind when people think about that stuff. And that's why the clutter and clear out is so important.
Pianos and pool tables, two most difficult things to get rid of.